diretor de novos negócios do Google, para contar um pouquinho mais do que está acontecendo na estratégia do Google com essas transformações.
Assistance is an era where we're always connected and we're always able to have help, to have assistance to help us in our daily lives. Right? How many people have a smartphone? I think everyone, right? How many connected devices in the world? This is more devices than people. It's crazy, right? Billion connected devices in the world. And there are more than 1 million devices every hour coming online and adding to this connected device pool. Devices are getting more powerful, more capabilities, and there's more opportunities for us to get access to these services that help us in our daily lives. And so one of the things that we like to do at Google is we like to try to understand, yeah, that's great, the rise of mobile is wonderful, we've heard the story many, many times, it's very evident in Brazil as well, of focus on the user and everything else will follow. Now at Google, what that means is we need to understand user behaviors. We need to understand user needs. And if we build products that meet those needs, we will have many, many users, billions of users using our products, and we'll build these big audiences. Consumer behaviors changing in this new, always-on connected world. Because it's very different than 5 or 10 years ago. Consumers are becoming incredibly curious. 2, they're really demanding. They're hard to please. And thirdly, they're incredibly impatient. So you have to think, 5 to 10 years ago, really in control of the products that consumers were to consider. And it was based on the products that you decided to assort and put on the shelves of your stores. Products they consider, their control of what information they get access to, how much research they can have. And we see a lot of trends that are showing evidence of this more curious consumer. Here, there's about 15% of Google searches that are brand new. No one's ever searched them before. Sears worth of video watch time, of reviews on YouTube and other channels on the internet. This is that included the word best, meaning consumers are doing the research to find the top-in-class category to figure out which products are going to be top of their list for consideration. Becoming more demanding. Chelsea near me for lunch or something. And we just started to see in the past few years that consumers started to drop near me. And now they just say, I'm searching for best lunch restaurants. And we're going to show you the search results of restaurants nearby. And so they want to know exactly where they can actually take the next steps to buy. And that might be online or that might be in physical stores. Really impatient. Does anyone know how many times? 10,000? That's a lot. It's about almost, it's over 180 times on average. Which when I saw that, I heard that number, I was like, oh, not me, that's crazy. And then I looked at the statistics and it was about 170. So access to information, we want it now. And minutes in New York City. And when it doesn't come, people get super anxious and upset because they assume that an Uber should be arriving. It's this impatient expectation that we have of consumers now. They don't want to wait. They don't want to wait for a store that's going to open tomorrow. They want to be able to access something immediately. We also see 120% growth in searches for same-day shipping. Now this shouldn't be a surprise. This is what I call the Amazon effect. Consumer that really at the end of the day is much more empowered. They're so much more in control of their consumer journey, and it's really hard for us as brands or as retailers to figure out how do we control it. We can't control it. To us, that they have questions or they need help, that's our opportunity. And the wonderful thing, well, first of all, what is assistance? Assistance, I think most people know the word, but just to make it really clear, assistance is about being helpful. It's about when assistance and helpfulness is in the blood of retailers. This is what you do every single day In all of your companies in Brazil, I'm sure there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of retail assistants helping customers in your stores every single day. This newly empowered consumer and new and different ways so you can actually be helpful in the way that they're connected and more empowered. That they tell are very helpful. And that's a shame because there's a lot of marketing dollars going out from the retail segment, from brands, and when you hear the feedback that about only a third of that is helpful, that's a missed opportunity. First, customer obsessed. And these are some mission statements of a few companies, US companies. Quality products and services at great value when and where customers want them, and by building positive, lasting relationships with our customers. Capture, store, process, output, and communicate images and pictures as memories, information, and entertainment. Know which companies belong to these mission statements? The mission statement looks sense. They have lofty ambitions, but Sears is a company that's basically gone bankrupt. They started with, in the 80s, I think 3,000 stores across the United States, and now they have less than 180. Payless doesn't even exist anymore. They pretty much closed down their operation. And Kodak is a company that went through bankruptcy, came out of it, but kind of doesn't really exist in the form that it used to. In statement, it was very customer-centric, but they didn't continue to understand how their customer was changing and how their behavior was changing, and they didn't adapt their business model or transform the way that they connect in a way to stay relevant. How are you thinking about changing your business to adapt to that? In a very different way. Think about service as not just serving the customer who comes in to buy something, but think about service as just being helpful for people who are curious and have questions where you have an opportunity to serve the customer. But the storefront is in so many different places now. Anywhere that a customer starts to have curiosity or questions about a product or service that you might be able to help them with. And think about their physical stores and their online presence separately, and they realized they needed to start thinking differently. And that company is Target.
For our guest is because they are digitally connected, because the world is at their fingertips and only a couple of clicks away, they demand great experiences every time. And great experiences are frictionless experiences. Acceleration in the growth of not only our guests using mobile in their shopping, but certainly our digital traffic shifting from desktop to mobile. 98% of our guests are shopping digitally. 3/4 of those are starting on a mobile device. The other great insight though has been that we've now learned through Google store data, about a third of our guests that are clicking on a Google search ad are actually paying off in a Target store trip. Over the last several years, we've seen a dramatic shift towards a far more diverse guest base. And it's a young family that's digitally connected, that demands great value every day, and that loves to shop. That could be at the kids' soccer game, it could be between meetings, that every moment is a shopping moment thanks to their mobile device. We design experiences, acknowledging that that mobile device is in their hands, and we've got to be able to bring the best of online to offline every time. So last year, they're using mobile in every facet of their shopping journey. They're using it in the pre-shop, whether that's doing product research for consumer electronics, whether that's building their shopping list or identifying which Target store that they want to go to. They're certainly using it in the store while they're shopping to find great offers available on Cartwheel, which is a mobile app that we launched a couple of years ago, where a guest has the opportunity to curate available offers that are most relevant to them. Since we launched it, it's been really well received from our guests, and we now have 13 million guests and counting that have downloaded Cartwheel, and we're excited about the future for it. We needed to really make that a reality, and for Target.com, that meant that we can't have a separate team creating products for Target.com different from mobile. All of our products should be mobile. And so we actually re-looked at our entire organization and essentially disbanded a mobile organization and created a mobile-first Target.com organization. It was coming through Target.com dramatically faster than most categories at Target, and yet we were still thinking about our assortment in our stores from our store merchants and our online assortment from our online merchants. We weren't designing a seamless experience. And so what we did is we brought together those organizations and said, this is now the patio organization. And because this is a digital first business and has been for the last few years, will only continue to grow so, we need to reflect that. So the assortment we choose online is led by the digital team. The products we then curate into our stores is led by the digital team. Even our weekly ad, our circular that we print, the products and offers that we choose to go in there are led by our digital team to drive the overall patio business. It's still very early days. It shows us that the revenue is growing and certainly dramatically outpacing the stores where we've not made that experience happen. So it's
percent of their customers that are shopping in Target stores are actually also online. A little bit deeper, they realize that omnichannel shoppers that shop both online and in store are 3 times as valuable. So why not start thinking about holistically the opportunity to serve these customers no matter where they are, and think about the total picture rather than a channel specific. Users that they were reaching online ended up in their store, and many of them ended up purchasing. And it was all about rethinking the way they approach thinking about their different channels and actually bringing the organizations together to collaborate on the connected consumer. Retailer in Brazil with stores throughout the country. And they have for years been very focused and investing heavily on wonderful in-store experience, merchandising, displays, etc. Have a very primary goal, which is driving people into their stores. But they were very skeptical that online and part of the online consumer journey could play a role in that. But after some time, they decided to partner with Google and spend some time understanding what are some of the solutions where we can actually help reach consumers online, and by reaching them online, send them into the stores, but most importantly, make sure that we have end-to-end tracking capability. And that people who were reached online, came into the stores, and then eventually followed through, tracking it all the way down to the sale. And by 1.5 times return on advertising investment, simply because they were able to track the consumer throughout their entire journey. And that reached them with what the consumer needs. Answering questions, and again, being helpful. And this is what we kind of label under a new service. Electronics retailers. I've been buying electronics from Best Buy from the time I was a tiny little kid. And find one of those store representatives wearing a blue shirt, and you know they're going to be able to help you. They're usually pretty knowledgeable about the products. They know about different configuration of electronics in homes, and they can actually advise you and consult based on your needs. Sure, people in the store, but they saw that their investment online was not comparable at all. So the goal was to start to balance some of their investment online, so when people are still in that consumer journey and shopping online, they would have the same access to service and help that they did if they go into the store. Considering. And if you're shopping on their website and you get interested to actually see one of these blue t-shirt people, you can click on a button and you will actually be able to chat with a blue shirt person who can actually consult and understand your needs and offer some assistance to be there when consumers need you most. Has anyone tried to use their phone to search a mobile website, and you get that arrow message that kind of keeps coming up and it doesn't load? And you end up, you have the great help needed online, but it doesn't serve the customer quickly and it's not made easy. The challenge is all of our statistics, we look at this very closely because this is one of the most important success factors to many of Google's clients. Seconds are abandoned. That's more than half. And so the challenge is to make sure that your online presence is meeting the needs of that online consumer, which means it's quick. And there are so many tools available today that are very sure that websites load quickly, and Google has a lot of advice to offer for assistance in that. This do something, whether it's buy a product or learn more or sign up for help. Make sure that there aren't too many clicks, there aren't too many windows. Remove the friction for the consumer, or 67% of the people are just going to abandon it and go somewhere else. So just to kind of bring a little humor into exactly what I'm talking about.
You make no sense. You make no sense. You make no sense. You make no sense at all. You make no sense at all. You make no sense. You make no
with the rise of mobile and the always connected to consumer needs are changing more than ever before. And consumers require a different way of interacting with them than 5 or even 10 years ago. On the user and reaching them and being helpful where they are with a new storefront, being helpful with new service, and doing it quickly and easily. Those are the companies that end up winning. So again, thank you.